Something you might find interesting.
Anything different since that broadcast went out?
Some outcasts loaded me up with gear. I think they're looking for an alliance.
If not the
Yo, what up, Ben?
pop artist fans there that are excited to see
up here
him.
listen to this,
But instead of focusing solely on the music, he has to make sure that he makes a statement because he knows eyes like ours, or not the most positive eyes at times, are watching. In his furry boots.
I'm not gonna hurt you.
In his white furry boots, he delivers this heartwarming message.
Couldn't help it over here. There's some kind of problem.
We're not sure. Our friend Samuel's missing.
You a homesteader?
Yeah, used to be. Before he decided he'd rather live by himself. No great loss, if you ask me.
He likes catching his own food. Says it keeps him closer to nature or something like that. And then he gives the furs and leftover meat to the camp. Never takes anything in return.
I knows how to take care of himself.
Last week, he was down here hollering about running into a bunch of sentinels on his land. They said they carried away a couple of deer he caught, smashed up his traps, and then... this week, nothing. Samuel's always had a temper, but In this place, these days, you say the wrong thing to the wrong person, well, you know.
Yeah, I know. Say, where are his usual stomping grounds?
He's typically around to the southeast of Garden Mangrove, northeastern part of Guyarone.
I'll see if I can find him. Thanks. Awesome. Thanks.
I know why Drake mad at you, man.
How you been though, Ben? Long time, brother.
Staying alive. Here's another interesting moment that happened because he can't just focus on his show. He can't focus on his redemption tour because he's trying to do a redemption tour at the same time as a revenge tour. When he was performing the song Nonstop, where he says, "How I go from 6 to 23 like I'm LeBron," he had to, for whatever reason. I mean, you know, the Fighting Irish freestyle kind of gave us a preview of this. LeBron dancing at the Not Like Us pop-out show. He felt the need to say, "How I go from 6 to 23, but not LeBron." That is so catty. Just do the lyrics, man. What you gotta...
You ready for your personal tour of Iowa?
Sounds like you ever swing by the gift shop.
Never.
Nigga, like, what are we doing, bro? Like, where your homies at? Where are your homies at? Where are your folks at? Is it because you just want to
Well, the
like, where's the
naval
label
station
at?
closed
You just
down
want to
years
label ain't
ago.
helping. Somebody got to
kids.
tell you, come on,
Birds and
man.
the bees,
Like,
Nomad.
lock in. You
We've
got to
got
lock
3
in right
generations
now.
living on this island.
You got to lock in. It's
If I
a
can be
big
blunt,
it's a
I
big
don't
skin
like you soldiers
documentary
being
happening
here.
on Sunday.
It puts these kids at risk.
You know what that means? It's code word for
But
something
my own
here.
man bleeds red, white, and blue.
You need to
So
lock
we'll
in.
never turn our
All
backs
right?
on you.
This is not the time to be talking about what happened last year's
I can
finals.
sort you out if you need
right?
any
The
gear or
last year
supplies.
championship. You need to lock in. Doing all this extra stuff is going to cause
You and your
more
troops
issues
can
than
bivouac
it is
over there.
solutions. Well, you thought you were done there? Nope, we're not done there.
If you really get to feel foggy,
You needed to get another
you can talk
angle.
to Sergeant Rowan Brown.
Here we go.
He used to be Kiwi SAS. He likes scouting around the island for those elite troops. They call themselves War. And over in our war room, we're working on our own logistics. You can usually find Mads in there. There's a Celtic engineer, Jericho, hanging around. She's worried about something big on another island. You might need to bring some friends with you on that picnic. So like I said, we will never turn our backs on you, but you better not do anything to put this community in danger.
I've got a hunch it's already in danger. But don't worry. I'll do my best to keep all of you safe.
For those of you
Let's
that are
hope
out
it's
there
enough.
that are still strong OVO fans, but for some reason you want to come talk to me about culture, I don't get it. I don't get it. Somebody still, during a live stream, y'all were convinced before the Grammys that somehow, some way,
Let's get you
the
set up
line
with
where
what you
Drake
need.
said, Kendrick just opened his mouth, somebody had him a Grammy right now. Y'all were convinced that that has aged like fine wine. Here's what I have to say about that. The person that came in here earlier, there's no way you think that Kendrick just opened his mouth, somebody just had him a Grammy right now. There's no way you looked at that and said that line has aged like fine wine. Well, I don't think you've ever had fine wine. I think you think Carlo Rossi is fine wine. Yeah, I said it. I think you think Paul Masson is fine wine. Yeah, that's what I think. They got an LA water, like, yes. Exquisite. Yeah. No, had a damn 211. Fine wine. I don't think you understand what age like fine wine actually means. Welch's. This man gonna say that Drake lines. It's aging like fine wine, am I right? Do you not read the room? Why would you walk into a room full of people who are celebrating and say to yourself, yeah, they'll understand what I mean by this Drake line. Said it aged like fine wine. You ain't never had wine in your life. But I can tell you what has aged like fine wine.
This is what I think right now about how things roll with the first row, okay? when they say the lines of the earth is burned in endless flame, and the hearts of men burn with desire, right? I think that what we see here in this section right here is obviously it's the situation where the world is burning, but that burning could signify either pollution, or if you want to go back even further, it's more of a primordial thing, where we're talking either the creation of the world itself, so it's an early planet that's being developed, or they mean that through sheer means, I think that there is a signifying detail here of the smoke. The smoke could mean either it's pollution or it's an early sort of situation for the planet. One of those things, all right? This is what I think. And I think there's a better way of really trying to gauge this with not just the smoke, but also I think it's because of the idea that this snake is the red line. So if the snake is the red if the snake is the red line, then you can argue that the world itself a very similar color. So imagine if most of the land that you see in the world is like the red line. That's the idea. So if you go to the red line, so the red line seems to be a very odd structure, obviously. It's huge. It has that sort of crimson color to it. And the sense that I get is that the red line might have been what most back in the day could have looked like. If the planet was going through some sort of sea of fire in the first world, the planet could have been similar to Mars. You can argue that, right? It's like the world was on fire, the world was burning. The earth was engulfed in flames. The red line, the actual crimson color of the red line itself could be indicative of how most of the world looked like. But it could be the case here where essentially you have two floodings, not one, two flooding. The serpent of fire is not necessarily an actual snake, it's the red line, you could argue. We see the Noah Ark in World 1, but we do not see the Noah Ark in World 2. In terms of the mind is also a divide. Notice that. The mind is also a divide, as if the land itself was divided between certain circumstances. The king on the boat, because remember how we thought, okay, like the king on the boat could be Emu. That's the idea. Like Emu was no. I think the king could actually represent not necessarily Emu, but rulers, nobles. It could be indicative of people of like royalty escaping on a boat. Because think about it, more so than anything else, why is it a boat? Why is the king on a boat? Why is it not? Because when you think about it, whether it's the Ark Maxim, whether it's the Noah Ark or the boat, it's ways for them to escape the flooding that was going on during the First World when the god of the land got upset and they cast the world into ruin. That's what I think, okay? You could argue that these three are indicative of what's going on with VH weapons. You could argue that. But I don't think so. I think that one is First World. Because here's the thing. If this is Second World, then this would probably be signs of the Holy Land. Because we saw in the Holy Land that people were slaves underneath the ground. So if you have slaves that are working underneath the ground in Mary Joa, then you can argue that this is actually more of a direct line of thought for that. First off, what's the purpose of the red line, and why is the all blue? And why was the all blue was discussed about? The purpose of the red line seems to be a response to people attaining something from the undying flame. That's the way it seems to be. The first world, the earth was engulfed in flame, and the hearts of men burned with desire. They reached for the forbidden star. They reached out for the forbidden star. What that is unclear. You can argue that the best choice of action, the best claim would be the undying flame. nothing else really makes the most sense other than the undying flame. Nothing else. You argue that. But remember, okay? The undying flame is not the same thing as the mother flame. The mother flame is the power source that Vega Body to create on Egan Island today. But it is stated by Shaka that there was a better power source in the past. They had better technology in the past. Starfleet, because it was always night in first world. Maybe not. That is actually a pretty good claim too. It could be just the Forbidden Star could be another way of representing knowledge. Because when you say that, and then you go to the One Piece scan version, you think of that in sense, that's way more biblical sense, where humanity succumbed to, so they succumbed to their desires. And then they touch the Forbidden Sun.
Não vou desapontar.
And then as a result, the God's Earth erased. So it feels like more than anything else, the God of the Forbidden Sun would be akin to the devil. And then the God of the earth is more akin to Yahweh. However, in this situation, like many other animes and mangas, the God of the sun is the good one. You would argue that. Or I guess it's debatable. Because it's the God of the sun that is the one that can bring laughter and joy and happiness. And the God of the earth was the one that was ruling when there was fire all across the planet. So you can read that way too. So the sun god still is being beckoned by the enslaved, which is bar for bar with Who's Who said. Who's Who mentioned the idea of people that were slaves. They beckon, they want the sun god to enrich their lives, freedom from their slavery, give them freedom. Luffy's most freest form is still consistent with what happened in the first world. Where there's always going to be something that beckons people away from their confinements. And I just realized you can argue that in some way, the Earth itself could be viewed as a prison.
Reconhece ele? Sim, o nome dele é
The
Victor
world
Frost.
itself is some sort of
We gotta go change that. We're gonna turn this out and be right back.